So, in true elephants in the room spirit, we have to clap. That's just how it helps me edit. So it syncs the clips. So on 3, 2, 1.
Ready to rock?
Ready to rock. Hi guys, welcome back to Elephants in the Room. I am here with Steven Vigilante, everyone. Now, a lot of you may not know who he is, but we're going to talk about it. It's really exciting stuff. Since my logo's not up, we have some elephants with us. We've got this guy right here, that guy right there, this guy. They're all named Ollie. Oh. And then, of course, on my arm. Coincidence? I think not. Let me introduce Steven a little bit. So Steven is someone who we became friends, internet friends a couple months ago. I've kind of already talked about him, but I haven't named him. But he is actually the person from Olipop who initially reached out to me and asked if they could sponsor my podcast. So thank you, Steven. Thank you. Everyone clap for him. Yay. But yeah, so he's very hype in Olipop, but he's also a lot more than that. He is an investor in a lot of businesses. He's a businessman. And he's pretty much just kind of known as like, I feel like you're kind of known as like a meme on the internet because you're like the Olipop guy that like the behind the scenes with the really feisty comments. Like if you feel like Olipop has a personality online, like if you've ever seen their comments on like my videos or other people's videos, you're always like, wow, that's like kind of left field. Like you just don't really expect it. He's the person behind it. So he's a little feisty, but yeah, that's who he is.
I kind of think about it as like, every brand comments the same generic stuff. Like,
yeah.
If you tag a brand in a story, they'll just reply with like a heart or like, let me know what you think. And I'm like, no one remembers that. Like, people remember funny things. And
he's blunt.
I just like, I don't know. It's just a fun little personality. It's like a little creative outlet.
No, but it's fun because it is like, it's very distinct. Like I feel like even if like 3 soda brands commented, and there was no like title of their name, people would like know which one is Olipop.
Yeah, I take pride in that.
Anyways, so we're gonna talk a little bit about you. We're gonna talk a little bit about Olipop, and then we're gonna do something fun at the end.
Okay.
So let's get into it.
I love games.
Yes, we love games. Okay, take us back to the beginning. What was your childhood like, and what did you want to be when you grew up?
Good question. I would say I was not like the most curious little kid. Like I'm super curious now. I'm very adventurous. I would say very spontaneous. I wasn't like that as a kid. I was like actually obsessed with sports and professional sports. Like I grew up in New Jersey. We had like New York Jets season tickets, and I was obsessed with the Yankees, and I played football, baseball, and basketball, and that was like kind of my whole world. I was also like a pretty fat like 10-year-old. I have some like funny pictures I can show you later, but
we're gonna pull them out.
I had like the worst palate. I loved like grilled cheese and like chicken.
Yeah.
And I'd like put ketchup on pasta and stuff like that. If you ever told me I'd be like pretty entrenched in like the health and wellness space at 10 years old, I would have been like laughing.
You wouldn't have believed it.
Laughable. And I didn't know anything about nutrition or even like fitness or anything. But then obviously grew a bit into high school and played 3 sports and was not fat anymore. But it's definitely like a core, that whole like I loved soda and candy as a kid.
Yeah.
And that all kind of dovetailed perfectly into like the whole Olipop story too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, I mean, as you know, I've told you a little bit, but I was like a fat kid growing up too. And like, it's funny because like now I'm like really big into like health and wellness and like all like, but like that's why I love Olipop is because it's such a cool way to like have something that people love, like something sweet, something exciting, like a yummy drink, you know, but also not make it like terrible for you, you know? So that's one of the reasons I love brands like that. I love brands that take something that's so amazing and then make it the same amount of amazing, but just like better for you.
The biggest, most successful like food and beverage startups over the last 5 years have all basically been like better for you junk foods. Like Halo Top did it, and ice cream. Smart Sweets did candy.
That's true.
Siete basically did like tortilla chips.
Oh, I love Siete.
Burritos and tortillas, and then Bonza redid pasta, Simple Mills redid Cheez-Its, and those are all like some of the biggest brands.
That's true.
And Cauliflower did cauliflower pizza. So it's like it's most Americans like don't eat healthy, right? So if you can figure out how to make an unhealthy thing a bit healthier but still make it taste good, that's kind of the holy grail. A lot of like these really premium products you see at Erewhon and Whole Foods, like they're never going to succeed in the middle of the country at Walmart.
Right.
I would be remiss to not mention my family. I'm also very close with them, and my parents are still in New Jersey where we grew up, and then I have a brother who's a year younger than me who's now in San Diego.
Oh, cool.
And a sister who's 5 years younger than me who's in New York. And we're like super tight.
So you guys are really close. Like you get together a lot and like,
yeah,
that's awesome.
I stay at my sister's place when I go to New York. She has an extra bedroom. We're like constantly texting.
Really?
Our little family chats always.
Yeah, we sent Steven a little questionnaire and it was like, what are the things you're passionate about? And one of the things he said was his family group chat. Yeah. We were like, that's so funny. Yeah. No, but that's really cool. And like, I don't have a super close family, but that's something I've always like admired, and like the closeness, because like life is really crazy and hard and tricky, and like we go through, I feel like with friendships you go through seasons, like you meet people and sometimes it doesn't work out and like you're friends with them, but like having people, it's kind of like being married, like you're stuck with that person, so like you fight sometimes but you just trust and love them, so it's like having that in a family is cool.
Yeah.
So like childhood wise, like obviously you grew up a little overweight, but just like childhood overall was just really fun, really enjoyable. Like any crazy experiences that stick out to you about your childhood? Like how would you describe, if you could describe your childhood in like 3 words, like what would you say?
It was like safe and comfortable, honestly. I feel like super lucky in getting older and meeting lots of different people. I've learned about how pervasive trauma is, and like 1 in 3 Americans have like serious trauma, whether it's like a death in the family or a serious car accident, what have you. And like I didn't have any of that growing up. I feel very fortunate that I don't have to like carry that burden with me. We grew up in suburban New Jersey, right outside New York. It's like very clean and safe. It was like I went to like the top public high school in New Jersey. Like it was pretty good.
That's awesome.
All things considered.
Yeah.
We did travel a lot as kids. Like my parents did a good job of like taking us out for like trips to the West Coast. We did a bunch of like national park trips. I was like a little idiot and I just like wanted to watch sports and play video games, but I definitely didn't appreciate it as much as I would now.
Right.
And like I feel very lucky. I have nothing to complain about. Okay,
so Steven had a good childhood. I love that. You're a rare case on this podcast. Most people we talk to have like severe trauma.
I wish if I was giving 10-year-old me advice or 12-year-old me, it would be to just like be more curious. Like I didn't care to learn things. I was always really good at studying and like memorizing stuff for tests in school, and I always got really good grades, but I feel like I didn't want to learn. I just was like doing it to get it done, move on to the next thing. And then something tripped in my brain. I like visited some friends who were studying abroad in college and went to like Rome and Barcelona and kind of saw that like the northeast of the United States is not the only place in the world to an extent. And like it just tripped a wire in my brain where I was like, I want to see the world. I want to go international every year for the rest of my life, which I've done since then. And there's just so much to experience. Yeah. And now that I'm like very into food and cocktails and different types of like beer, like there's so much to see out there. Like, going international is like, it's the best. It's truly.
That's awesome.
I will absolutely be taking my kids out of the country as soon as they're able to.
As soon as they're old enough.
I'm such a believer in it. Like everyone cool I know has traveled. Like you just learn about the world and meet new people and have more of a good perspective. I had like this very myopic perspective as a child of like New York and New Jersey and sports, and that was kind of my lane. I didn't get outside of it until I was older.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think I agree. I didn't travel like at all. And then when I started traveling, I was like, wow, this is like really crazy and awesome.
You're out for a month.
Well, no, I know. But before that, like growing up, the first plane I ever rode on or flew on, no, I was 17.
Holy smokes.
So I had never really left. The only place I had gone other than Utah by the age of 17, I believe, was we had driven to California.
Wow.
So I had never, and like Idaho, but like, I don't think that's anything to, say, oh, I went to Idaho. Yeah. Which I will say, one of my favorite things, I know it's like we're on and off about you and Olipop and all the things, but I would say like, I mean, obviously I love the flavor of Olipop and like all the things, but literally just the design is so aesthetic. I think that's why you guys have had such a moment on social media, is because people love the brand, but it's also so like cute. Yeah. Like, does that make sense? Like, it's people like want to post with it. It's like a status symbol around it. Yes. It's at that point. 100%.
And David, like, I actually had their fundraising deck sent to me by another investor, and they were like trying to get the company started. Like, I literally opened that. I think I was on my phone and scrolled like 3 slides, and I was like, "This is the most beautiful presentation I've ever seen." Like, the brand was always really dialed in, and like that's often an indicator of like the the quality and the craftsmanship of the founders is
Right.
how good a presentation can they make.
100%.
At the early days when they don't have help, and theirs was so good, and I was like, I remember just looking at it being like, if this product tastes good and it's priced under $3, it's gonna change the world. Like
Right.
a root beer that's this cute and is actually good for you with this packaging. I was like, that's
100%.
I literally went up and met with Ben. He had samples in a soda stream in a cooler, and I remember trying it. I was like, oh my god.
You're like, wait a minute.
Root beer. Like,
that's crazy. That's so cool. Yeah, it's definitely like, I think that's like what people have said to me the most is just it's so marketable because it's so cute. Yeah. Like even in like very like aesthetic photos or videos, like people want to hold one because it just like looks, it's just, I don't know.
I've had a lot of people who like either don't drink soda or never drank soda growing up, who just like, they see it around and they just like never tried it, and then like I get them to try it or whatever, and they're like, oh my god, it's actually good. Like it's one of those things. I think there's like some people on social media, like if you see something everywhere, you're like, this can't be that good. It's like there's no way.
No, absolutely. It's funny because I like everywhere I go, I have it with me, and I'm the type of person I am is I love like making food for people and doing things, so I'm always trying to like share the things I love with people, and so I'm always like, oh, like yeah, I have extra Olipops, like do you want? And people are always like, what is that? And then they're like, oh, I think I've seen that before, and then they try it and they're like, oh, usually they're like, oh, I don't drink soda, it's too much sugar. I'm like, oh, like this has no sugar, blah blah. I hype it up, and then they try it and they're like, what? Like this is actually really good. And I'm like, yeah, it's like, and it's like not something you need to drink 5 of a day, even though I've done that, but like can add it in on your dinner, and your lunch.
That'll be a lot of fiber. Maybe.
That's right. Maybe a little too much fiber.
I will give you a shout because I think people like to know the behind the scenes. So Nicole had been always like tagging us in TikToks, and I would see them, but like we get hit up all the time, and I was kind of like sort of following as she was growing, and at one point I just was like, she just goes posting so much, we need to just work with her. And people are always like hitting us up and asking for a free product, like let's work together.
Yeah.
Or managers or agents will reach out and like, XYZ loves you, they want to work together. And I'm like, it's cool, send me the post they've done where we're in it.
Totally.
It's like the best way to get our attention is just tagging us. And it's like someone's good at content or they have a platform. We can't work with everyone, obviously. Right. But like we're just naturally doing it. I always like, even when we're like talking about like big celebrity parties, like Camilla was actually paparazzi photographed at Air One drinking Olipop.
Wow.
Sort of how that started. Because we were looking for people who are authentic fans of the brand. And so, we're obviously like moving into some more big talent conversations as the brand keeps growing.
Totally.
We want to expand what we did with Camilla. And so, we talked to like the big talent agencies. And I'm like, tell me which of your clients love it. Like that's the first step. Like I don't want to ever have to get on and explain to someone what it is. Like that's not going to work.
People can just tell. Like people can tell when people are being authentic, and people can tell when they're not. And I think essentially any brand deal or any like work that you do with any brand, like yes, you're getting paid, so it's a job at the end of the day. So like anything that you see that has like partner or whatever, like people are gonna initially think like, oh, like they're getting paid for this. But I think that people can definitely tell when it's genuine and stuff. So it's so funny. Which
with, like when people ask me for like talking points, I always kind of just tell them like, how do you explain it to like someone you want to try it for the first time? Like those are the talking points. Like whatever is most important to you. Because some people care about the fiber. Some people are just like, yeah, it's just a soda. Yeah. It's lower in sugar. And I'm like, cool. That's
totally. Well, and it's really low in calorie. I mean, you can have 3 of them, and that's like what like one soda would be.
100 calories? No.
It'd actually be, well, I guess less.
Real soda is 150 to 200 calories.
That's true.
And we're like 30. So yeah, it would be like 7 or 8.
So that one day I drank 5. I was fine.
Dude, in sugar wise, like we're kind of 3 grams on average. Like, like traditional soda is like 40 to 50 grams.
That's true. That is very true.
If you were to pour that many tablespoons of sugar out on the counter and
it's a lot.
Look at it, you'd be like, holy smoke. It's like 13 packets of sugar.
Yeah. Okay, this is such an important question, and I really want to give you an opportunity to kind of talk about this because we're going to talk a lot about like business and Olipop and all these things, which we kind of already have. But who is Steven aside from Olipop? Like, who are you as a person? If you were to describe yourself and, like not include any of this, what would you say about yourself?
I would say I'm very like spontaneous, and we actually take these like pretty hardcore psychological assessments at Olipop, and like it was pretty interesting seeing mine. I was like, yeah, I definitely am those things. I'm like can be pretty impulsive. Like I act quickly. I'm definitely a doer. I can't be bored. I'm like very bad at that. I'm very loyal. I'm definitely a social butterfly. I have like, my superpower is definitely like maintaining relationships. I think like I've met literally like thousands and thousands of people over the last few years, and like I think I've been proud of myself and how I've been able to kind of like foster those relationships and stay in touch with people. And it's difficult. It takes a lot of effort, to be honest, but it comes pretty natural to me. And I've always been a connector. I would say most people would probably agree that I definitely don't take life too seriously, and that's like the core. There's just Ben is our co-founder. Ben is like just like me. He's a total goofball, and he goes to these big, talks at these big conferences and stuff, and he just like messes with people kind of. Yeah. So many people like stick up their ass these days, and like we're just go against the grain. Like I feel like outside agency parties when they have Zoom calls with us, it's like a laughing show because like I just like make jokes. I see
your guys' posts on Instagram. I see all your little like screenshots of your Zoom screens and everything.
And so it's like that's our culture too. And it's like people love working at Olipop. We have an amazing culture, and everyone's like literally obsessed with each other. I'm really obsessed with like democratizing better for you products, and we were kind of talking about this earlier, but there's so many of these products that are just too expensive to like ever help the people who really need it. And what I love about Olipop is like we're like very obsessed with trying to bring the price down as much as we can because we know people drinking soda are A, price sensitive, and B, like are never going to buy something that's $4 and they can buy Diet Coke for 50 cents. So we'll never be $1. We use real ingredients. Like we're not using high fructose corn syrup and like government subsidized crap ingredients. So like we're never going to be that cheap. But the fact that we're like doing really well in Walmart and Target and Kroger, like it is scaling outside of just the health and wellness community, and that is super important to me.
Totally. Yeah, no, 100%. It's kind of funny because I feel like a lot of the people like just who, I mean, I know you guys see it, but like I have a lot of people buy it like and post and be like, oh, like Nicole. And these are like acquaintances, people I knew from high school, just like random people. But it's funny because like I know none of these people are like health people.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And so I'm like, but I can also see from what they post, it's like they're probably going to Target or Walmart. Like they're not going to like an Erewhon or Sprouts or Whole Foods or whatever.
I've had a lot of people tell me that recently, that they're seeing people in their lives posting it who they know have never bought something healthy before.
Yeah.
Which is like, that to me is how you make an impact.
Well, and it's cool too because I feel like if you start with something like if someone can try something like Olipop and be like, okay, like this is an easy switch, like I actually really enjoy this is great. I feel like it can start to make you curious about being health conscious because you're like, oh,
our mission. Yeah.
That's really cool.
It's to get people, it's just like a very easy first step in to this world, and it bridges that gap.
Okay, we've already talked about it a little bit, but for anyone who's watching this who doesn't know, give us like a very brief summary of like, what is Olipop? Why is it a thing? You know, if you had like a 60-second timer and you were to explain it to a random person, what would you say Olipop is?
I do this multiple times every day.
Yeah, I figured you'd know the answer to this.
Olipop is like a soda that's actually good for you. It's high in fiber, low in sugar. The kind of science behind it is, or like the reason for it exists is like 95% of Americans consume more than like the allotment of sugar you're supposed to have in a day, and 99% of Americans don't get the 30 to 35 grams of fiber you're supposed to get in a day, and then 60% of Americans have a chronic digestion issue once a week. Wow. And now it's like more than a third of Americans are diabetic and pre-diabetic. A lot of those gut issues and a lot of the diabetes issues stems from added sugar. From the number one source of added sugar in the U.S. is sugar-sweetened beverages. So not enough fiber in the diet, too much sugar. Soda's the number one cause of that. Could we make a soda that's kind of swaps fiber for sugar and actually tastes good? And that's sort of the spiel behind it. But disguised in flavors that are very true to core nostalgic traditional soda flavors, as opposed to like all these like, you know, fruit combo sparkling waters that exist. We went straight after traditional soda. So root beer, classic grape, strawberry cream soda. We have a cola. We have now a Dr. Pepper dupe, we have a Sprite dupe, and then we've got there's two more kind of core soda flavors that we'll launch, and then we'll.
Can you tell us? I'm just kidding.
And then we'll probably start getting creative. We're looking at a couple of really interesting collabs that would be like way off the walls that are like almost are more in like dessert flavor category. So not to say too much, but
you guys should do strawberry kiwi.
That would be
Put that on the
that
list.
would be interesting.
That'd be
We
good.
get a lot of requests for pineapple.
I don't know.
Peach.
Oh, yeah, like a peaches and cream maybe or something.
Was the top selling sample.
Oh.
Historically, so yeah, there's
Dang, I need to get in on these samples.
Honestly, most people at the company don't get to try them before they launch.
Dang.
Ben is the founder and formulates them, so obviously.
So he's the one who kind of is in control of that.
He has like a lab at his house where he actually makes them, which is very unheard of. Like
that's crazy.
Most beverage founders don't know how to actually make them.
Yeah.
They pay for someone to do that.
Yeah.
He's actually making everything.
He actually cares.
At his house in Portland, he has like an entire fridge downstairs of all these different flavors, and I was like, holy smokes. And then he has like the other flavors he's like working on and like trying to kind of recreate, and he has like, old school versions of them there. It was cool.
Yeah, I want to meet Ben one day. That's so cool.
He's a very interesting fella.
Well, that's amazing. Okay, that's a great answer. I love that. A soda that's better for you. That's great. So you kind of touched on this a little bit, but like, how did you get involved? How are you, what are you to Olipop, and like, how did you get in this position that you're in?
So I was working at a venture capital fund in San Francisco, investing in better for you consumer brands. Met a ton of people there, learned a lot about the industry, really fell in love with it. Like, I was in finance really before I like investment banking, and it just like that wasn't my world. Suit and tie, long hours, in an office every day, like just not my vibe.
Right.
And so I got involved with this venture fund, and then meeting with like 30 brands a week for 3 years. Met a lot of founders. I really love founders. I like really appreciate the freaking chutzpah you need to start a company. It's like the craziest thing you can do, but it's also the best learning experience you can have, in my opinion. And I really wanted to get more involved with the brands at the fund, but that wasn't really our strategy. We had a lot of portfolio companies, and we didn't get super involved with any of them. And so I ended up quitting and taking a job out of another food startup in LA and moved from San Francisco to LA. That actually went under within 8 months. They had $40 million in funding, all gone. Like, it was a really crazy experience. It's a whole nother story. But people had always kind of told me I should start consulting, I should start working with brands. Like, people knew I knew how to like make pitch decks and how to pitch investors and like kind of play that whole game because I'd been on the other side of it. And so I literally started a consulting business, and one of the first people, founders I met when I was doing that was Ben and Dave. Because I met this woman who was looking at investing in Olipop in the very, very early days. And she was like, hey, I'm looking at this investment. Could you take a look at it for me? And I like fell in love immediately. That's so cool. I literally was like, this is going to change the world. Like a root beer that's good for your gut. I knew gut health was like coming because I was meeting all these startups that were focusing on gut health, so you can kind of see where the trends are going. And I actually had David's number from. I had actually met David when Ben and David had a brand before called Obi that was like a probiotic like kefir soda thing. It was more expensive. It was in glass bottle. And I had a call with him, so I actually had his number, and I called him, and I just was like, I really love what you're doing. I do help brands raise money, blah, 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 which I hadn't actually done. They were like my first one. And they took a flyer on me. And so I came on to like help raise money. We did that successfully, and then I helped kind of launch it in LA. So I was like around since the very early days. I wasn't like a full-time employee until like 6 months in. So I was like technically like employee 3 or 4.
Gotcha.
And then I was like the first employee here in LA. And then it just sort of kind of started taking off, and my role has like kind of evolved as the business has evolved. So I helped launch our e-commerce arm right before COVID, kind of like helped stand that up, how to figure out how to do Facebook ads, how to do influencer marketing. And then I manage all of our fundraising too. So we have like 24 big celebrity investors, a bunch of venture capital funds, and I pulled in most of those people and kind of managed that whole process. And through that, I've met a lot of people in like the media entertainment world, and that's sort of like how the Camilla deal came together. And so I work on all of our like partnerships and marketing and fundraising. It all kind of like ties together. And then I started our TikTok account 2 years ago. And
so you fully run that. Other than obviously the content that's on there, but like you're the one. I don't
honestly have as much time. Last year I was like really in the weeds. I would like check all of our notifications every day and respond back to things. I would be looking for creators to work with. The business has just evolved and grown a lot. We obviously hired Sarah. She runs the day-to-day of the account. And
she's amazing. She's so cute.
She's amazing. Yeah, Sarah and Izzy are awesome. Izzy runs Instagram.
Who's the other girl?
So there's Sarah, and then there's a girl named Diana, and then there's a girl named Nyla. So Diana's brother has a huge TikTok account. Him and his dad.
Gotcha.
Him and their dad do Johnny Drinks, which is like a...
Gotcha.
And I met John in New York, like at a party, like 3 years ago. I was like trying to learn TikTok, and we actually did a paid post with him and his dad on their page.
Cool.
And then he was like, hey, my sister is graduating college and she's pretty good at TikTok. She had her own account. And I was like, can she make us some videos and we'll just test them out? And they were like funny and she was good at the trends and the editing. And so I found her and then Sarah kind of at the same time. Sarah's story is actually great. She had posted a TikTok that was like, one of her friends had accidentally group chatted her saying, I can't believe Sarah's trying to be a creator or an influencer or whatever. And she like made a video about that. And it was like, I could tell it was going viral. It had like 100,000 views in like an hour. And I commented on it saying, should I give you a brand deal just to piss your friend off from that Olipop account? Woke up, that had 10,000 likes.
Wow.
Video was like 1 million views.
I remember you telling me this actually. That's so funny.
And I just was like, well, I guess we have to do this. Like,
yeah.
And so
we gotta stay on our word.
Videos, and they were good. They were really good.
Yeah.
And then she emailed me like 6 other ideas, and I was like, these are really good. I was like, what do you do? She's like, I actually do social media for brands. One of which was a subdivision of one of the huge competitors. And I was like, are you open to coming and do this full time? And so we brought her on like, it was like 15 months ago now.
That's so cool.
And they crush it. They're both so good.
Yeah, no, they're amazing. And it's cool too because they, you kind of see their face and
Yeah.
Like they're Olipop girls.
You gotta start. Like TikTok just does you this in the post.
It's like,
definitely.
Turn
out content. The algorithm rewards you the more. It's like but you have to start somewhere. So we just started. I just like August 2021. I was just like, we just gotta start. And so I actually had.
So about 2 years ago, you guys started. You said.
Yeah.
That's. You guys have almost 300K, right?
Yeah, it's exploded this year. Like.
Yeah, you guys have crushed. I think when I first started following you guys, you had like 114K maybe.
We've been adding last year we were adding 100 to 200 followers a day. This year we've been 1,000 a day.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's hard to pinpoint exactly why. It's just
me, duh. No, just kidding. It's gotta be me.
We have a pretty robust, our product placement and seeding on TikTok is pretty big, and that's just past 1 billion views on our partner hashtag, and that obviously helps. Obviously.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's also just exploded in stores this year too. Our sales in almost every store have doubled since the beginning of the year.
That's so cool.
Which is crazy.
Good for you guys. That's amazing.
We just put some press out about this, but we'll be over 200 million in sales this year.
I saw that. I was researching about
Very few beverage brands get past 10 million, let alone 100, and we'll be way past that.
That's incredible. I love that. Okay, cool. So you kind of answered that. These questions, this one's kind of hard. I don't know. No, actually, you will know this. What's the founder story? Why was he just I'm going to make Olipop? Where did this come from?
Yeah, so there's 2 co-founders.
So Ben and David, the co-founders.
Yeah. Ben is the most interesting person you'll ever meet. Grew up in a pretty rough environment, actually in Northern California, but very poor. Dad passed away when he was 3.
Oh wow.
He was actually overweight when he was in high school, I guess, and went on similar to you, went on a whole health journey, went raw vegan. I think he lost 60 pounds in 4 months or something.
Wow.
And got super. Ben is the literal smartest person I've ever met. He's a 180 IQ or something. And so when he puts his mind to something, he becomes.
He's dedicated. Yeah.
And so he started actually formulating his kombuchas in I think he dropped out of his first year of college and started his first kombucha company.
Wow.
And so again, it's impossible to start a beverage company. You need
dang, we hated on kombucha and now full circle.
Started, yeah. And so he developed his own culture bank and all this crazy stuff. Probiotic culture bank, and then that ended up going. It's so hard to start a beverage company. You need so much money and connections, and he had none of those. So
and there's so many beverages out there. It's what's going to make you different?
Everyone probably has 500 beverages. So that went under, and then he was I need a business partner who understands the business side more. And then he met David, who was at Diageo, which is a huge alcohol brand. They own Johnny Walker, and Smirnoff, and he was a senior marketing person there. They met up, and David was living in Oakland at the time. And they met in San Francisco. They started a beverage brand together called Obi that was a probiotic soda.
Gotcha.
It was more it was a lot. It was more like a kombucha, honestly. And it did okay. They took some money from a group that was backed by Coke, and they ended up kind of having a falling out with them. And they left that, sold that business to those investors. And Ben's whole entire being is around gut health and the brain gut axis and the connection. And he was just kind of the same thing I was saying before, obsessed with democratizing better for you products, wanting to bring them to the masses. And he's considered I would assume he's got to be one of the best beverage formulators alive. Very few people.
It's cool that he literally is the one testing stuff.
Truly, he's literally making all of them. He's made every single one of them.
That's actually crazy.
Yeah, it's unheard of. And so he kind of had this, like, he went to Japan after they sold that last business and had this, like, come to Jesus moment. Was like, I think I can make a soda that actually has, like, this much fiber in it and actually make it taste good. And came back and, like, worked on the first formulas for a few months. And then, you know, we launched it, like, I kind of got involved, like, August of 2018.
So when did Olipop, like...
September 2nd, 2018, we sold our first can at Erewhon. I remember that.
Wow. At Erewhon, too.
At Erewhon. Number one selling drink in Erewhon.
Oh, really? That doesn't shock me.
Yeah. You saw a lot of cans there.
I mean...
But we're also, like, the number one selling, like, root beer at Target now ahead of W, and, like,
that makes sense.
Pretty wild stats. Yeah.
Well, you kind of answered this already, but I have to know because for those of you who don't know the story, we're going to talk a little bit about the story, which is so funny, of, like, how this all came about. So I had started my podcast, and I think I'd done it for about 2 months when you found me, 2.5 maybe. I'd put out a couple episodes, and the clips on TikTok were performing really well. And as everyone knows, and I've said this before, but, like, I've always been an Olipop drinker. Like, I don't know when I first got into it. I'm trying to remember when I first found you guys, but at least for a year before you found me, I'd been drinking it, like, avidly, like, all the time. And I had posted you guys all the time just because it was just in my life. Like, I would post grocery hauls and be like, and I got Olipop and, like, whatever. But anyways, yeah, long story short, I had started my podcast, whatever. It's like 2 in the morning, and I get this actually, okay, we'll start here. A couple months, I don't know, was it you? Olipop followed me back a couple months before you guys worked with me. I had followed you guys, and I don't know who, I tagged you in a couple things, and you guys had followed me back.
I mean, probably it was me.
It might have been you. I don't know who it was, but someone followed me back and messaged me and was like, we love you, or, like, something like that.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm friends with Olipop, whatever. But that's all that had ever come from it. And I think I don't know if I ever emailed you guys. I think I had sent in an email when I first started TikTok and I had, like, 80K and was like, I want to work with you guys. They just, like, ignored me for months, years.
What email did you send to?
No idea. I mean, I don't really know if it ever went through, but I'm just saying, like, I know that there was messages or something of me trying to, like, be like, oh. And even I remember seeing, I think mainly too, I would comment, because you guys would comment back to me and be like, oh, I love you guys.
Commenting is for sure the best way to get attention, and that's what I do to get attention of other creators I want to work with too.
Yeah, no, definitely.
On their stuff.
100%.
You can, like, become known in, like, a music artist fan base by just, like, living in the comments. It's
yeah, I mean, especially with your guys' little logo and, like, check mark. Do you guys have a check mark?
Yeah.
You do. Mm-hmm. So yeah. Anyways, I'd kind of, like, we had kind of crossed paths and whatever. Long story short, at 2 a.m., I get a message from Olipop, and you guys were like, well, it's you. Steven was like, why are you not on our PR list? And I was like, oh my gosh, why? Yeah. What the heck? How rude. And then somehow it transitioned into you asking if you could sponsor the podcast. And
I remember, like, seeing your posts whenever it was, a year or so ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then I, like, hadn't seen your page in a while, and then it was at, like, 300K or something. I was like, oh my gosh, you blew up. And, like, you see it's the beauty of TikTok is it has democratized views. Right. Like, on Instagram, you're having to ask influencers for screenshots of things, and are these views real? Are their followers real? Like, it's all out there on TikTok.
Right, you can see.
Like, pricing things out, and, like, it's different. Sometimes it's different because, like, I always want to show up in good videos. I always tell people, like, I don't want a sponsored video. I want to sponsor your video. Mm-hmm. I want to show up in your good content that the algorithm knows you're making. Like, if you just made, like, well, maybe your page is a little different, but certain creators, like, if they have a lane they play in, then, like, they throw an Olipop ad as, like, a different video, like, they never perform well. It's like, That's not their video. That's not their content. And I feel like brands don't get that. I see so many brands with these big, I know how, like, expensive partnerships with big influencers, and then they're usually getting, like, 1 million views a video, and then that one does, like, 80K, and it's like, because that's not their normal content. Like, I'd rather show up in your normal content that performs well versus, that's why we do a lot of partnerships with people who cook and do food stuff, food related stuff, because I just want them to throw the can in at the end of the video. Yeah, you just want it to be shown, product placement. Yeah, which I think is so interesting. That's a whole nother topic of conversation, because I think that that's such a smart approach. Not that any construction worker we work with on TikTok is Thomas. Does he, like, pack lunches and, like, show his lunches? Mom packs his lunches. Yeah. We basically pay the family to, like, show up in his lunch twice a week, and he's gone from, like, 50 to, like, I think he's over like 700K now. He's like,
oh my gosh,
he got a full brand deal from Chobani. Like he's,
oh wow, so he's crushing it.
And like I get so many comments and tags. I'm like, found this from Thomas.
Wow.
Like he definitely moves products. Like
that's sick. Yeah. So I guess
like his first brand deal. I think that's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, you guys were essentially I had one brand deal before you guys. It was like a 4 video greens sponsorship, but I'd never really like done any other sponsorship. So you guys were maybe like my first like very like legit that I like wanted to do. Like I said, I had other people reach out, but I was never like, this makes a lot of sense. But yeah, obviously when you guys reached out, I was like, I mean, duh, like this makes a ton of sense for me. I already posted. It was literally, I cried. Well, I was just like, this is like, if I could have like prayed for a brand, because like that was the thing. When I started my podcast, I was like, I want this to be my job. I want this to be my job. And, you know, I'm like, I don't know how that's going to happen, but like, I want to be able to really like quit my job. And I was so sick of what was happening in my life. And so I was so ready for a change. And so it's crazy because it's like, social media is so interesting and brand deals and all that and whatever. But one thing that's so important to me and one thing that like obviously comes across on my content is like I'm a very honest, vulnerable person and I don't want to be fake. And so that was always a fear of like, okay, I want to find something that makes sense for me. And so then when you guys reached out, I was like, this is like literally what I actually drink. Like my followers already know that I love this. Like if I incorporate this into what I'm doing, they're not going to be like, oh, she's just like, you know, they're going to be like, oh, like she loves Olipop. Do you know what I mean? And so I was like,
that's what I look for when I'm looking. Like we have a couple athletes we're working with now who like do drink it, but have never shared it. And like, there's an art to like having them sort of tease it and showing them that like, I'm like teaching these people how to do this. Cause they're not content creators, right? Right. I just got some photos back from this football player who we're working with and they were like, that was like the packaging was still on the box and like he was just like in his kitchen. I was like, no, sir. Like, you're like, get a little better. I was like, let's go do something with it. He did another video with him like working out. And like drinking one after. I was like, perfect. Yeah, something simple. So I guess I'll kind of ask which this all ties in, which you kind of already answered, but like when you found me, like why? Like what about my page? Because I feel like I'm a little different than some of the creators you work with. What was it that you were like, oh, like this girl? Like, this makes sense. I mean, the authenticity, obviously. The fact that you were, like, actually a very big fan was very clear. And then, the vulnerability, that's, like, a huge internal, like, kind of, what's that word? It's like a pillar. It's like a core pillar of Olipop. It's vulnerability. We talk about it all the time. And then, I mean, your backstory is super interesting. The Mormon tie is an interesting one. Yeah, I got all those Mormons watching me because the drinks. They do. So that definitely was a factor as well. And I mean, you're obviously in LA now, but I like that I love finding people in different pockets. You can't just focus on like New York and LA influence. Yeah, no, absolutely. It's too niche. So especially now we're like nationwide at Walmart, Target, HEB in Texas. Like I'm always trying to find. We're like doing a bunch of stuff in Cincinnati this summer. That's where Kroger headquarters is, which is a huge grocery store chain. And so I'm like talking to people in Cincinnati, trying to figure out who like the Cincinnati mom influencers are, so we can work with them. Yeah, it's cool because like I think that I don't know. I feel like everyone I've ever seen with that Olipop partner hashtag is a little different. Like, I don't know. I feel like you guys are pretty specific, I guess I would say. Like, I don't, like, whenever I see, like, obviously there's a lot of food people and stuff, but a lot of times it's kind of like these very genuine, kind of like not influencers. Does that make sense? Like, I call them creators. Like, like, we used to do a lot of the influencer stuff on Instagram, and it was like, so repetitive, and I think a lot of those people reach like all the same audience, and now I'm like laser focused on finding new audiences. And my criteria is either like they have to be a super fan like you, or they have to have some sort of content lane that makes their audience care what they're eating and drinking. Like if you do beauty and skincare videos, like does anyone totally care? No one cares, drinking, right? Yeah, and like a lot of people we worked with who have like 8-9 million followers for like dancing or something they do on like, and like I basically judge it based on like, you know, the views versus what we're paying in comments. That's kind of all I can go off of. And so if I've had some bigger post we've done annoyingly that like got very little comments and the engagement was worse than So it's like, I always try to stay in that lane of like,
Yeah.
who is influential in
Right.
the food space, right? Like
Yeah.
Action Bronson is an example. He's like a rapper in New York and has a food show on Hulu, and like he has extreme influence, over what people eat and drink. So he's like an interesting, potential partner for us.
That's awesome.
I will tease two things that I can't give all the specifics on, but two like really cool, high profile music video integrations. We just filmed one. We're doing another one in 2 weeks.
So cool.
They're iconic. They're with massive artists.
That's crazy.
And they're like really thoughtfully done. They don't feel like an ad. It's like so cool.
That's so cool.
Excited.
I mean, that's literally what I feel like is so different about you guys is all of your sponsored stuff doesn't feel like an ad, and that's why I think that your Olipop partner hashtag does perform well, which it's interesting because typically with brands, when you do get brand deals, it's like, we want you to say this, we want you to do this, we want you to set it here.
I've been given a brief to a creator in like 2 years.
No, I remember when I was kind of confused because I was like, okay, like, what do you want me to do? You're like, just like tag us and like, just like make it look good. And I was like, all right.
Don't want to be sold to.
No, I know. I agree.
TikTok. And so you just want to show up in cool places at the right time. That's sort of my strategy. And if you watch movies from like, I've been on like a 90s movie kick recently, like Coke is in every freaking movie. Like, it's on the table everywhere. I don't know if they were paying or not. I'm sure they were back in the day, but like that's what I'm going for.
It needs to be seen.
Advertising is very important, and there's like very like smart and sophisticated ways to do it, but also just like showing up in the right place. You need a combination of the two.
But I think what's cool too about it is that I think that rather than like a paid ad where people just like talk through the product, I think that when people see it, it creates a curiosity, and people love figuring things out. Like if I see something and I'm like, what is that? Or like, what, if I get curious about something, like I want to figure it out. So I think that, we always talk about this, like the comments on my Olipop videos, even especially on Facebook, are like, what's that drink? Like, what is she holding? What is she drinking? Like, people are like, they're intrigued into the sense of like, if they haven't experienced it, instead of me flat out in every video being like, this is Olipop, by the way, like a better soda for you. It's like, they're turning and like, what is this?
Curiosity, and then later do a video that I can actually explain.
Okay, this one's so important. If you answer wrong, you're canceled. Who is your favorite Olipop ambassador?
Nicole.
Wow. I couldn't have guessed it. Oh yeah, I think I've heard of her. She's like has a lot of trauma, right?
What's your full name?
Nicole Donna Mitchell.
Oh, Donna.
So Donna is my middle name. People always think Donna's my last name.
Yeah, okay.
But it's not.
Nicole.
Don't be deceived. But it's because when I was married, my last name was McCormick, and so it was a lot easier to keep the Nicole Donna because like the last name was confusing, and that's what it was. And so trauma things or whatever. I guess you kind of already talked about this.
Ben is a big trauma guy.
Oh, he is? I need to get Ben on here too.
Yeah, Ben should definitely come on.
That's cool.
He's the one who taught me everything I know.
That's so cool.
Sociopaths and trauma, and The Body Keeps the Score. He gave me that book.
Yes.
It's a good one.
I need to read that. I think I've actually heard of that book, but I do believe in that principle.
High impact book.
Yeah. All right. It's cool because Olipop's, you guys are just different. You're very different. Like, I don't really know how to describe you guys. Like, even just working with you, like, everything is just very different, and you guys are very much, like, kind of like, it's like a very, like, family feel of, like, everyone, and
Sarah
you guys...
Sarah runs our TikTok, Izzy runs our Instagram, like, we're texting all day. We're, like, throwing out ideas, sending videos, like, this is funny, let's keep this one in the back, like... There's a method to the madness. Like, there's a reason it is what it is. And, like, we're all maniacally obsessed.
Totally.
But not, like, insane. I think it's obsessed in, like...
in a healthy way.
Yeah.
I would agree. That's how I feel. Like, people know I love it, but it's like, I don't know. That's funny.
A healthy addiction.
A healthy addiction. That's right. What are some of your favorite things about your position?
Should we start an Olipop Anonymous?
No, literally.
That's pretty funny. I'm gonna file that one away.
Yeah. Put that one in your back pocket.
Yeah. Get an Olipop addicts club. Sorry, what was the question?
Yeah, we like meet every week. We're like, so, how are you doing? How many did you drink this week?
What flavor is it?
What flavor are you liking?
How are your poops?
My flavors do change. Like, my favorites change.
I do too.
They kind of, like, even the strawberry vanilla, when I first drank it, I was like, eh. Now I, like, love it.
Even just, like, different times of year call for you. Like the crisp apple, you had that?
Oh, my gosh, the crisp apple's incredible.
That'll be back this winter.
That's one of my favorites as well.
Blackberry vanilla back in the day?
You told me about about it, and I still haven't been able to try it, and I'm mad.
There isn't any anymore, sadly. Blackberry prices went up.
Oh my gosh. So that makes sense, because when you were like, oh, orange cream's ending, I'm like, why? Like, that's the best flavor. Like, not the best flavor, but it's one of the best flavors. So I'm like, why would they?
It was a summer flavor each of the last 2 years at Whole Foods, and it did really well, but I think there was an issue on a couple of the ingredients getting too expensive. If we can't sell it on the shelf at $2.49 every day and make the money that we need to make to run the business, you just... No,
that makes sense. It's just a business move. I mean, watermelon lime is going to be like a big... I think you guys are going to have...
Lime juice is also expensive. That's a but yeah, it's
don't get rid of watermelon lime and orange cream.
People are obsessed with watermelon lime. When that goes... It's just in Sprouts right now, but
oh my gosh.
Nationwide, they'll be...
Steven, kid you not, Grace was here. She can attest to this. So I brought in that case to me, the producer, David, and Grace, and we all drank one and had them do the little taste test or whatever. Genuinely, the next morning I wake up, they're gone. There was 3 of us there. I woke up and David was like, oh, do you have any more? And I was like, I have 1 left, but I need it for my podcast. And so he literally drank it, and then I would like pour something fake in the water. He wanted it that bad. I'm like, okay, fine.
It's a craveable flavor.
It's think about like being on the beach and like having a watermelon lime.
Yeah. It's so good with mezcal too, if you're a mezcal.
I'm not a big drinker, but I would try it.
It's so good.
Okay, let's see. Now we get to do the fun stuff. Yes.
Can I take a pee break?
Oh, yeah. Okay. He drank too much Olipop, everyone. I had a couple different ideas, but I think this is the best one because probably the most common question I get in my DMs about Olipop and just from friends is like, what flavors do I get? What are the best flavors? And I've like made a couple videos and stuff, but we're going to set the record straight. We're going to go through and try each flavor, and me and you are both going to make a master list rating them. I was thinking we would do a blind taste test, but I was like, we know the flavors. We would both win. Yeah, like, there's no way we wouldn't know what everything was.
Sometimes people do it on TikTok and like get it wrong. I'm like, what are you tasting different?
Bro, never.
Comments being like, there's no strawberry in the strawberry vanilla. I'm like, what? Like,
no, I genuinely. If you were to pour every single one of these, I would be able to name every single one. In a heartbeat. It wouldn't even be hard. Okay, there's your whiteboard. All right, guys, this is called...
Have you had every flavor?
Steven, you act like yes.
Like every single?
Every single flavor.
Even cherry vanilla?
Yes. So we're going to go through and we're going to be honest. Steven, I know you work for Olipop, and you need to be honest and put your least favorite. But it's not like we're saying we don't like any. You're just doing the top to the bottom of the best flavors. So right now we have, the only flavor we're missing, guys, is a ginger lime. Or ginger lemon.
Yeah. Vintage cola, ginger lemon, and strawberry vanilla were the first 2. Did you know that vintage cola used to be called cinnamon cola?
Ah.
And when we were doing like events and demos, people would like be like, I don't know, is it gonna taste like Fireball? Is it like really spicy? Like, no, there's just like some cinnamon in it. You can't really taste it. So we changed it to vintage cola.
I do like the name vintage cola better, but I think
it's way better.
like
it came with brown actually, not silver.
Oh wow.
Yeah, a relic from the past. Ollie rankings.
Ollie rankings. Mine's gonna look better, but it's okay. Just kidding. I just had to roast you real quick. Which is funny because I like when we started talking and like we were trying to plan working together, we were like low-key roasting each other the whole time. Don't you remember? I was like, this guy's so funny. All right, let's start with the OG. One of the OGs, vintage cola.
That was a good crack.
Thank you.
The next one in the mic too.
Oh, true. That ASMR. All right, guys, vintage cola. We're going to tell you. Oh, and you know, this is great for the audience, too. Let's try it. We're going to rate it, but let's talk about what it tastes like. Cheers.
Just the classic.
It's such like a warm flavor.
Yeah.
Like it makes me kind of feel like almost in a winter flavor, not in a bad way.
Yeah. I think important to know with Olipop is it's definitely the best if it's been in the fridge for at least 12 hours.
Yes.
Because it allows it to properly recarbonate. Mm-hmm. And like a warm Olipop, it's not nearly as good.
Right.
So
I mean,
over ice is the best.
Oh, yeah. I love a good warm Olipop, though. I'll drink it.
I think if you're a hardcore Coke drinker, the cola's probably gonna leave you wanting more, but if you're a diet soda drinker, it's pretty spot.
I agree. I would agree because it kind of like diet soda kind of has like a coconutty sweeter flavor, and I feel like this kind of has a little bit of a fruity
There's
flavor.
Also 50 milligrams of green tea caffeine.
Gotcha. Okay.
Just like Diet Coke.
Vintage cola. I'm gonna just do VC. So 1 out of 10, right? Ah, man. And then we gotta show each other what we put.
Yeah.
Okay. 6.9.
7.9.
Okay, let me explain mine. It's just that I wouldn't choose vintage cola over like the root beer or anything else. Like of the soda flavors, vintage cola is my least favorite. Now, I also am a Dr. Pepper girl over a Coke girl, so that plays into it.
Yeah.
So like it's a solid flavor. If you're gonna like, if you get vintage cola, you're gonna enjoy it. It's gonna be a good time, but it's not like at the top.
It's a very good beverage, but like in the greatness of the Olipop family,
it's not the top.
It's not number one.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad we can agree on that.
Right.
All right. Now.
I do crave it randomly though. Like I'll randomly.
No, I know.
I randomly crave most of our places. So even sometimes I'm like, I'm gonna go crazy and get a cherry vanilla.
Yeah.
Just
Well, you know what's funny? I used to when I first started drinking Olipop because I'm a Utah girly. Oh, crack it. Oh yeah. Because I'm a Utah girly, when I used to drink Olipop,
Ooh.
I would do the like Utah thing. I would put coconut cream, sweetener, and vanilla.
The dirty soda.
The dirty soda with the vintage cola. All right, ready, guys? A little root beer moment. That actually sounded crazy. And did you hear that? That was incredible.
Whenever we do like podcast sponsorships, I always ask them in the notes to crack a can in the.
That's a genius.
Crack a can in the mic.
All right, root beer, everyone. We gotta cheers it. Cheers to the top selling flavor. Might I add?
Number one.
It's so clean. I love the root beer. Is incredible.
The root beer is no notes. To me, it's the perfect can beverage.
It's really incredible. And you know what's interesting actually is I don't like root beer traditionally.
I know, interesting.
I love an Olipop root beer.
Stewart's root beer and birch beer were my two favorites growing up. And
Really?
I would love if we made a birch beer at one point. It's like, is that a Northeast thing?
I don't know.
Have you ever had birch beer?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, me and my grandpa would go mini golfing at the beach when we were kids, and we'd always get a birch beer over ice at the end.
All right, let's give one. 9 out of 10.
10. Perfect. I'm only going to give 1 10.
Yeah. Oh, you're only allowed. Oh, wow. And you're going to give it to root beer?
Maybe that's a lie. I have one more that I think
Okay.
I'll give it 10 to.
I say you get 3 10s. That's all you get.
Okay.
3 10s. I'm going to give it a 9 only because it's incredible. And if you like root beer, you're going to drink this and you're going to want this more than root beer. Literally. Even for me who doesn't like root beer, I love it. It's just I'm more of a fruity flavor girl. That's why I'm not giving it a 10.
You're a fruit stand girl.
Yeah, I'm a fruit stand girl. So like I'm going to drink the root beer. I'm going to love it. But if I have the choice between a root beer and a fruity one I love, I'm going to choose a fruity one. Something in the root beer tastes like so good.
There's like a creamy vanilla note.
Yeah, it's kind of like a cream soda. Oh wait, let's get another crack. Now, but see the top. It's giving me issues, so I'm trying to show it.
Oof.
That one wasn't as smooth. Maybe it's a sign that this one isn't the best. So wait, is Orange Squeeze OG?
No, it was probably like the 5th or 6th. Maybe.
Okay, fair enough.
Second year though.
Do you know what it ranks in sales?
It's very hard to flavor rank because certain flavors are just in a lot more stores. So like their sales are higher, but they're also just like root beer is everywhere. Mm-hmm. Versus like Orange Squeeze is only in like half the stores.
I'm not gonna lie.
It's very different around the country, to be honest.
I haven't had an Orange Squeeze in like a long time. And I'm like, maybe I actually like it more than I thought I did. That's like a very true orange soda.
I know. It's pretty bang on for like if you grew up like on Slice or Orange Fanta, like it's pretty spot on.
Okay, maybe I like that one a little more than I thought I did. That kind of see, this is good though that we're trying them though, because it's like kind of getting you, you know, in the present moment. All right, I'm gonna do. I like the name too, Orange Squeeze. That's cute. All right, 3, 2, 1. 7.8.
7.7.
Oh, I went higher than you.
Yeah.
I actually like the Orange Squeeze. That kind of shocked me. I might be drinking that a little more often now.
It's good.
It's not, and that one's in store too.
And you're a fruit girl.
I am a fruit girl.
On the soda side. So like,
Yeah.
I usually skew the soda.
I just think the reason I gravitated away from orange squeeze is because I love the orange cream so much.
Yeah.
It's like I'm going to choose, you know? Fair enough. All right, we're going to, let's actually go straight to the orange cream from the orange squeeze because that just makes sense.
It's sadly not going to be very cold, but...
That's okay.
It's okay.
You know what? All right, guys, this one is actually probably like, if I had a top 3, this would probably be in the top 3. And I haven't had it in a long time because I haven't been able to find it. So this is Precious Cargo right here. All right.
My friend sent me a picture yesterday. She's staying at a hotel in Venice, and they had orange cream in the hotel minibar. I was like, literally.
How did they get that?
I do not know. It's so good.
It's so good. Oh my gosh. You know what it's like? It's like an orange Julius, like vanilla orange, just delicious. Oh my gosh.
It's so creamy and delish.
Wow. It tastes like a full-blown dessert. Like literally.
Are you a floats girl? Do you make fruit floats with Olipop?
Yes.
Yeah. You should make popsicles.
I actually just saw a popsicle maker and I had the thought.
Really?
I literally had the thought. Okay, wait, so
Popsicles.
orange cream. I'm just like eating a popsicle on my TikTok podcast. I'm like, guys, this is made with Olipop. Okay, gosh, what do I do for, okay.
A prebiotic pop. Wow.
Hey, that's kind of
It's not a bad idea.
all right, ready?
I'm at 8.9.
10 out of 10, boys and girls.
10 out of
R.I.P., you know?
10. R.I.P.
R.I.P. So maybe the orange cream will come back, guys, but just know that it's really good. And that one's just like, I mean, there's nothing that could be changed about that. That's incredible. That's better than...
No notes.
It's just incredible.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say about it. Okay, wait. Where do we go next? Cherry Cola? Cherry Cola. It took me a long time to get my hands on this one.
It's only at Target.
Why is that?
It was made exclusively for them.
Interesting.
Mostly Target. If Target has an exclusive on any product, it's usually red. They usually want red.
Ah.
And so they have it for a year, which is up in August, and then it'll go into other stores.
Interesting. I'm gonna let you crack this one. That makes a lot of sense. I just would have never thought of that.
The retailers always want exclusives.
Mine was better, but
It was.
bottoms up. This one's good. I love a good cherry cola moment. If you're gonna get a cola, I would get this over vintage cola. This one is really incredible.
It's really good. I agree.
I got a little Olipop on my board. I'm cleaning it up. Ah, man, that's hard. 3, 2, 1, 8.
8.6.
Yeah. I was considering doing an 8.2, but it's a solid 8. Like you're not going to be disappointed if you get a cherry cola. You're going to enjoy it.
I crave them randomly too.
They're very good.
I don't live near a Target. I never go to Target, so.
No, me either. All right, we're going to go classic grape. I'm going to give you some redemption here to crack it in the mic really well. A good little ASMR moment.
Could you hear that?
Yeah. Oh.
Not me spilling on myself all day today.
Grape is iconic. I don't know what else to say.
I couldn't agree more.
It's incredible. If you want to like go back into your childhood, but you want to do something healthy,
I was convinced
do the grape.
there was a hint of lime in it at the end. And I was just up at Ben's house, and he told me, in fact, that's not true. So I feel like you get a hint of lime at the end, but
I don't really get that, but like
so it's made with real Concord grape juice instead of grape concentrate, which is like any grape drink
Wow.
has always been concentrate. So
Right.
you can taste the realness. It doesn't
Oh,
have
yes.
that, like,
but it's so
like-
sweet because grapes are so sweet.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go with 11 out of 10.
Oh wow.
Ooh.
I'm gonna give a 9.5 out of 10.
I think I do like push comes to shove, grape versus root beer, I think I'm going grape.
Really?
Right now. Yeah.
Okay, I can agree to that, but I mean, I literally fruit beer put 9.5 for grape, so.
Yeah.
The proof is in the pudding, people. I'm an honest rater. The grape is just like, when people ask me, like, which one should I get to try first, I always tell them go grape.
So when people ask me that question, I always say, what's your favorite soda? Because, like, you're going to like the one that's, like, your favorite soda. So it's, like, pick up the one that sounds the best to you. Because, like, some people like the fruit flavors. Some people like the soda flavors. I find that most people either like one or the other. They're, like, not as hot on one. But that's fine. We have something for everyone. That's
I personally feel like the grape is good because it's almost like, yes, it's like a childhood drink, but like I think when first time triers try like the vintage cooler, they're gonna compare it too much to Coke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Grape is a good gateway drug.
Yeah, it is. Gets you addicted. Start with grape, lead into all the others. Okay, we've got 2 left. Oh, 3. We'll do Dr. Goodwin. Dr. Goodwin.
This is our Dr. Pepper dupe.
Yep.
Goodwin is Ben's last name. Did you know that?
It's whose last name?
Ben.
Oh, really? It's incredible.
People are always like, who's Goodwin? I have to say, I do love real Dr. Pepper. Actually, like, on road trips, I'll, like, grab a Diet Dr. Pepper every now and then.
It's got Diet Dr. Pepper vibes for sure.
It's got Diet Dr. Pepper vibes. It's not bang on. Dr. Pepper has 23 different fruits in it. And
wow.
It's like a secret that it's like
really hard to master.
Paper that's like locked in a vault in Waco, Texas or something. And so Ben obviously tried to like engineer.
No, I feel like Ben did a really good job. For trying to make a Dr. Pepper dupe, I still love it.
I crave it too randomly.
I still love it.
It's not my top, but.
All right, I'm gonna 3, 2, 1, 7.3.
7.2.
Okay.
Yes. Similar palate.
That's a fair rating, I feel like. It's like, it's you're gonna enjoy it. You're not gonna not like it. I mean, there's not one Olipop flavor I don't enjoy.
There's not a single one that I'm like, no. Like,
yeah.
I will literally drink any of them.
I just enjoy some more than others.
Our worst selling flavors still sell very well at Whole Foods. It's like,
oh yeah.
If that was the only Olipop thing in there, it would be like, it's wild how well it sells.
If someone gave me an option.
I was never a big cream soda person. I did. And when we launched it, I was like, I'll probably not drink that much. Obsessed.
It's so good. I love the cream soda because I have a big sweet tooth and this one's really sweet.
You should tap your fingers on it into the mic. Yeah.
ASMR.
There you go.
Cream soda, everyone. Go and buy it at your local. Where is this one sold? Whole Foods.
Cream is not
Erewhon. It's not in Whole Foods?
It's in Target.
Target. Find this at your local Target, guys. Cream soda. Okay, ready?
It might be in Walmart now, too.
I think I've seen it other places than just Target.
No, it's definitely in other places than Target, but I know it's in Target.
I love a good cream soda moment. The cream soda is really good. This, with like a cream soda float with some vanilla ice cream,
Fire.
Would go crazy. Okay. I definitely need a high rating for that guy. All right, 3, 2, 1, 9.3.
9.8.
Cream soda is like definitely, if you haven't had cream soda before, you need to get it.
Root beer, grape, cream. Those probably are my top 3.
We'll see what mine are at the end. Okay, we've got, oh, did we do strawberry vanilla?
No.
We'll do that and then we have watermelon lime when we're done. Strawberry vanilla is great. You know what I love about strawberry vanilla? It's not overly sweet. It's like a very mild, just simple taste. Like I love it. A strawberry vanilla is incredible.
Number 2 after root beer in terms of.
Really, I mean, it's also so cute. You have to think like the marketing on that is incredible. Okay, 3, 2, 1, 8.5.
8.1.
All right, guys. Last flavor, sadly.
Fiber in.
Yeah, we're.
We haven't really said this, but every can of Olipop does have 9 grams of fiber in it, which is like
really incredible.
2 big bowls of broccoli's worth.
But I need that because
We all need it. Everybody needs it.
I need that in my system.
Everybody has tummy issues. No one eats enough fiber. Wow.
That was clean. That was actually very
Craft
clean.
of the day brought to you by.
Brought to you by Nicole, Steven's favorite influencer.
Wow. Could you hear that when you were pouring? It sounded.
Yeah, listen.
Yeah. Oh my god.
That's ASMR. That is such good ASMR. Wait, hold on.
ASMR
One more. I gotta do one more.
It's a watermelon lime. This is our brand new flavor.
Brand, it's the flavor of the summer, everybody.
Our hashtag for it, or like a tagline for it is Too refreshed to be stressed.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
The name of this episode.
As we drink like 20 Olipops.
I'll be the first to say I was not excited for this flavor. I was like, it's not a core soda flavor. It's like, we need another fruit skew, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
We have another like core soda flavor formulated already. It'll come out this summer. We could do breaking news and say what that is. I wonder if I'll get slapped for that. But
Well, I can cut it out. If when I put it out, you can't say it, but let's put it in because it could be big news. What is it, huh? Spill the beans. Spill the Olipop.
what do you think it is?
The new core flavor?
Core soda flavor do we now have? I love watermelon lime. I think it's amazing.
What core flavor? Oh, I know.
Yes.
A Mountain Dew dupe.
No. Very good guess though. Ginger ale.
Oh, wait, you told us this.
Yeah.
Ginger ale.
Oh yeah, I did.
You know, ginger is good for the stomach too. So that's kind of like makes sense for you guys.
It's really good.
Wow.
I tried it at Penn's house a few weeks ago.
Watermelon lime. What do you think my rating is going to be? I want you to guess mine and I'll guess yours.
I think you're in like the 9-6 territory.
I think you're in I think it's a 10 for you.
9.3.
15 out of 10.
Oh.
15.
Wow.
I will say
Is that your number one right now?
that's my number one. So what were your top three?
Number 1, grape. Number 2, root beer. Number 3, cream. Number 4, watermelon lime.
All right, I've got watermelon lime coming in at number 1. Number 2 for me was orange cream. Number 3, which one is this? CG? What is CG?
Classic grape.
Classic grape. Duh. And then 4 is root beer for me.
That was fun.
So what's the designated best flavor between us if we were to do the math? What should be the top one people should try? Probably the classic grape or root beer.
That's usually what I recommend to people. Like if someone leaves a negative comment on something or they had a bad experience with the flavor, I always say try grape or root beer.
Fair enough. But also scratch what he said, try watermelon lime. No, I'm just kidding.
You can get your hands on it. Watermelon lime's
I mean, use code Nicole20 for 20% off if you want to try the watermelon lime.
Good plug. Final rankings. There we go.
Yep. Well, I guess we will close out this episode because Steven's got a girlfriend who's like, get back here, which I understand. But yeah, we'll just close this out. Thank you so much for coming on, Steven.
I miss my dog.
Oh, that's true. You're having like abandonment issues or something? Attachment issues?
Yes.
Well,
favorite dog ever.
Yeah, he's got a little dog that his girlfriend rescued off the street. It's actually a cute story.
She's the cutest dog in the world.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Steven. We appreciate you. It's exciting to put a face behind the name, and now people know a little bit more of my story and how we all got connected. And we're super excited.
I'm meeting my internet friends.
That's right. That's right. All right. Well, we'll close this episode out by just saying, again, thank you, Steven. And if you guys would like to support Olipop, obviously you can use my code, Nicole20, for 20% off. You can go follow them on social media, Olipop everywhere. Correct. You guys have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all the things.
Drink Olipop.
Drink Olipop. Yep. And if you'd like to support me, you can follow me on all my social media, which is just Nicole.Donna and then Elephants in the Room. You can also leave a comment, leave a review on the podcast. It means a lot to me, really helps me. And then you can also use my Olipop code for 20% off. So that's how you can support me. We'll close this episode out by saying, what elephants are in your room? My name is Nicole, and I will talk to you guys next week. And that's it. Now we clap.